Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode in our Rise of the Moors series. So it's actually been quite a productive month since the last episode. We're still sitting on top of the League 2, only by a point, but we do have a game in hand. And as you can see there, we've now got a really healthy goal difference. And that is because we've continued our free scoring form into October. And since the last episode, we've picked up really good wins over Oxford, Exeter in the Johnson's Paint Trophy, as well as against Notts County at home. But our away form has really struggled, so obviously we drew away against Port Vale in the last episode, and we didn't actually manage to win away at Newport County, which was actually quite a competitive and tight affair. But disappointingly, we were on the receiving end of a 4-2 thumping in our last outing, and that was away at Scunthorpe. So let's have a look at the highlights of those games now, and then we'll crack on with the episode. So the game we showed in episode 24 was that 0-0 draw away at Port Vale, and I put that down to a bit of tiredness and a bit of fatigue in the ranks following our cup game. But after that 0-0 draw at Port Vale, we bounced back with an absolute demolition of Oxford. And now at the time, Oxford were in such good form and they were chasing us down and were in second place at the time. and they came to Agborough and we absolutely dominated them. The possession we bossed. In fairness, Oxford did have quite a few number of shots, but only the 3 on target. We scored 4, but 2 came from the penalty spot. We defended well in this game, and after an even first half, defensive errors led to a couple of opportunities from the penalty spot for us, and that really made up for the defensive errors we had in our game against Southend. So Charlie Cooper with the hat-trick here, 2 from the penalty spot, 1 from open play, and it was a further own goal that added to the 4-goal haul here. So Charlie Cooper with man of the match there, and the assist coming from Calandrado Martin. And then we played Exeter at home in the Johnson's Paint Trophy second round. Now, we've already played Exeter in the league this season, and again we recorded a comfortable victory here. We were 3-0 up after 20 minutes with goals coming from Scott Tancock, his first for the club, Charlie Cooper with his 4th in 2 games, and the 3rd coming from Billy Waters. But it was Jake Kenyon who had a fantastic outing here, 2 assists from him, and that got him player of the match. But it's our away form that seems to have been struggling of late, and we played Newport County away after the Exeter game. And it was a really tight affair, very close on the statistics. We were edged on possession actually, and I think that's the first time this season that we've been edged on possession. It was a game of few chances, but Rowan Liebert pounced on a defensive error in the opening few moments to put us 1-0 up. Newport County scored on the break in the 39th minute after Ben Glasgow found himself out of position, and it finished all square, not many chances in the second half at all. So not a brilliant performance from the Moors here, but a decent draw away against what actually are a very tough team. But the goals returned in the following game at home to Notts County, where we were very impressive, and a 3-1 win did not flatter us. It was all square after half time, with goals coming from Billy Waters and Reece Healy, who seemed to be pretty decent outing for Notts County as well. But the winning goals came from Callum Drowder Martin and then Carl McFarlane at the death. But unfortunately, our last outing was away at pre-season favourite Scunthorpe. Now Scunthorpe have had not a fantastic start to the season, and they found themselves in the bottom half going into this game. But they're such a strong team, and it was Paddy Madden who was causing us some real problems up top, and he was leading goal scorer for League 2 last season. But the Iron were so clinical here. It was pretty close on the statistics. We edged them on possession. We had a few decent chances ourselves, but going forward, Scunthorpe looked so dangerous. And it was pretty disappointing to lose by such a big margin, even though they were pre-season favourites. But it was Billy Waters who actually had a really good outing here. He got himself man of the match with a goal and an assist. But as you can see there, our defensive unit had a pretty horrific outing here. So that has left the league table looking like this. So after 14 games for us, we've got a game in hand, 30 points, 9 wins, 3 draws and the 2 losses. But as you can see, we've scored 36 and we've conceded 15, which if you think about the thumping we've had from Scunthorpe, really on the whole our defensive unit have been pretty decent. So that's left us with a goal difference of plus 21, which is really impressive for so early in the season. And actually, we've scored the most league goals out of any team in English football so far. But just having a look at the home and away record, you can easily see there, the 7 home games we've won all of them, scoring 25 goals, only the 5 conceded. But it's the away form which is a bit of a concern. 2 wins, 3 draws, 2 losses, and a pretty even goal difference there. So definitely our away form is something that we really need to be looking at and need to be working on in the coming months. I think if it wasn't for those drop points away from home, we'd probably have quite a comfortable lead at the top of the table. And actually that's such a surprise because I didn't expect us to be such a competitive and such a good unit this season. And I think it's our attacking capabilities that have carried us so far, and that has been really impressive. So just having a look at the team statistics then, so as you can see, 36 goals for us, so 9 more than any other team in the league. We've also got our best percentage at hitting the target as well, so 47% shot on target ratio is leading the pack, but there are a lot of teams ever so close behind us. Now, it's our ability to control the game that our tactic and our philosophy is built on, and actually this season hasn't been as impressive as previous seasons actually, and I think we've struggled to control the game against the better teams in this league, which in fairness isn't surprising as it is now such a more competitive division for us. But most pass completion rate we still have, 76% for us, which is pretty decent I'd say. It should be a lot better. Passes completed 5,400, and that actually is a good few hundred behind many of the other teams in the league. So that's something that we need to be looking at and need to be working on. Our average possession is only just behind Southend, and Southend is such a quality team as we've already found out this season, so that's not too surprising either. So just having a look at the player statistics for the league only today, Geraldo Martin is leading the way on the scoring front. He's now in double figures, he's got 10 goals, but it's a really good contribution from our other two strikers as well. Liebert with 7, Carl McFarlane with 6 goals, so that's really impressive. And then obviously a decent contribution from some of our other midfielders and our defenders as well actually, so Billy Waters and Charlie Cooper on 3. The assists again this season seem to be coming down the right flank, 7 apiece for both Billy Waters and Ben Glasgow, so that's really impressive as well actually. Player of the match, Geraldo Martin obviously, he's on 4 for us so far, a couple for Billy Waters and then a few other players on 1 so far. Now, our pass completion rate and our ability to control the possession hasn't been as good this season, but actually there are a number of players above 80% pass completion rate. Filipov leads the way, but he's only had 7 appearances, 4 of which off the bench. Luke Simpson 83 pass completion rate, which is okay for our goalkeeper. Obviously you'd expect it to be higher than our other players. But actually then it's Geraldo Martin, Sam Bone, Henry Jones, Intima, all above 80%. And they have been playing quite a few good games for us as well. And the average rating, that belongs to Geraldo Martin, but only just ahead of Ben Glasgow, who has been pretty inconsistent with his form of late, but having a 7.7 rating is pretty decent I would say so far. But as you can see, Ben Glasgow's form has been on a bit of a decline in the last few games, and I haven't been too impressed by a few of his performances, so that's something that we definitely need to keep an eye on in the next few months. So today we're playing our game in hand at home to Northampton. The game was shifted to the Sunday kickoff because of the ground share with Kidderminster, and we really need to bounce back in this game following that pretty poor outing against Scunthorpe. Now Northampton, we've already played this season so far and we have beaten them, and they started the season pretty well actually, and they were up in the top few positions for a while, but as you can see they have faded away of late. They're in 19th position in the league now. Now granted they're only a win away from boosting themselves up into a mid-table position, but I'm expecting to win this game. We really need to win this game just to reintroduce a little bit of a buffer and a bit of a points gap at the top of the table. They were on the back of 3 losses in a row going into their last outing where they beat Dagenham and Redbridge. So a decent victory over Dagenham I'd say actually, who are pushing for a playoff spot at the moment. So this is the team that we're setting out with today. Geraldo Martin starting today. He didn't start the last game because of his fitness and he seemed to be a little bit jaded on his fitness, so we rested him at the start of the Scunthorpe game, but he's definitely back for this one against Northampton. So he's on the left wing playing the inside forward role. Rowan Liebert, who seems to be in really good form of late, he's starting up top, and that obviously means we've got Carl McFarlane on the bench. His form in the last few games hasn't been as good as it was at the start of the season, so he's starting from the bench. Billy Waters playing the attacking winger role. We've got Cooper, Bone and Willock in the centre of the park, so we're playing 3 in the middle today. Henry Jones, he's returned from injury, he's going to be on the bench, but his fitness isn't there just yet, so we may introduce him late on into the game. But the big piece of news is that we've dropped Ben Glasgow today, he's on the bench. Tyler Reid is going to be starting at right back, which means Purrington starts at left back, and we've got Darnell Johnson, Dion Conroy in centre defence, and Luke Simpson in goal. So starting on the standard mentality today, we've reverted to a flexible approach, having been a little bit more structured against the strong Scunthorpe outfit in the last game. So we're favourites for this one. A win for Northampton can elevate them 10 places, so that's how tight it is in the centre of the league at the moment. But we need to continue to beat teams like this. We've beaten Northampton so far already this season, so we should be able to have a strong outing here again today. So Northampton setting up 4-4-2, a formation we do struggle against actually, but we have already beaten them this season, as I've said. And because of that, closing down their wingers, closing down their strikers, and sticking tight to their strikers as well. A little bit of faith into the team today, following that thumping against Scunthorpe. We are favourites here, so we should do well. So the Moors to start at home. A team against a team I think we should do well against. 70% possession for us in the opening 4-5 minutes. Clearance, and Crosdale plays the long ball forward and it's loft through on goal. It's just passed into the back of the net, and that's a poor goal to concede, you know. A long ball forward, headed down from the striker. Nobody pressing the central midfielders. It's just an easy ball over the top, and Johnson got caught on his heels. Luke Simpson not out fast enough, and he didn't really make any effort to block that one. And Northampton are one up against the run of play. So we're still dominating possession. Our pass completion rate is really good actually for this game. I'm going to up us to control actually. I think this is a game that we can do that in. Because at the moment we're all over them. Just need to get some good shots and good creativity. There's Northampton again with Holmes. Finds it inside to Corrie, and there's nobody pressing him. Loft plays through Marriott, smashed into the back of the net, and Northampton are 2 up. We're going on the attack. Just every opportunity they have so far, they seem to be doing well, and Luke Simpson again seems to be at fault for that one. But a fantastic strike from the outside of the box. I'm going to give them some encouragement here. Actually, demand more from them. It's the Moors to start, and then 2-0 down against a team that we've already beaten so far. But it's Geraldine Martin. He's got a good tackle against him actually. I thought he'd beaten his man. And Crosdale across to Adams into Loft. But he's given the ball away. Willock, Liebert now. Willock again for some support, play through to Waters, but a good tackle from Creswell who stepped out to block that one. But we're coming back at him again, Liebert at the edge, good ball forward to Waters, easy goal, fantastic movement around the box. A lovely little passing from Rowan Liebert there. Fantastic, what Cruyff turned it to him again. We love seeing that animation in this year's FM. And Billy Waters, I think that must be his 5th goal of the season. So we are still bossing them. Waters with a corner, drilled in. Bone now, Liebert! 2-2, what a comeback. I think we've got them if we can just keep oppressing them. Bone plays a good ball across, Liebert on the volley. 2-2 now, what a fantastic opening 45 minutes for the spectators. Our defensive unit again haven't been playing particularly well, and I think that must be half time. Pretty disappointing, I'd say actually. I think we're doing enough to get a result out of this one. I'm going to tell them we're not happy. Need to get them to go out a bit more fired up. Donald Johnson's having a really poor outing actually, so we've got Scott Tancock on the bench should we need him. Geraldine Martin again. Not a fantastic outing, and because of the 5 low knee rule, we don't have Jake Kenyon on the bench today either, which is a bit of a shame, and probably a bit of in hindsight, a bit of a mistake from me actually. But we'll see if we can do a bit better in the second half. So Northampton to start this one. 2 shots on target for them, and both were drilled into the back of the net. Waters with the corner for the Moors. Liebert rises, but that's cleared. Willock now, Sam Bone. Waters delivers it again. Martin at the back post. He's smashed it against the post. He's had a few opportunities like that this season so far that he's all put against the post, you know. But throw into the Moors, Purrington gets the ball back and he's just given the ball away. That was poor, but that was a bit of an error. And Geraldo Martin with an easy goal. What a shocking series of errors from the Northampton defence there. A strange pass back here. The keeper heads it out straight into the path of Geraldo Martin, who rifles it into the empty net, and that's put us 3-2 up. Just going to give them a little bit of encouragement, you know. Might drop down from attacking to more of a control approach soon as well, because we need to avoid Northampton coming back in this game, but we've won the ball back from them now. It's Geraldo Martin plays Liebert down the left wing, looks for Cooper and Bone for some support. Willock now, good ball into Waters, he should have scored. What a miss. What a fantastic play from the Moors there, but Waters should have put that one away. He should have doubled his tally for the day. Just dropped to control. I think Northampton have made a few substitutions now, so I'm about to make a couple of changes myself. As soon as I've gone onto control, Northampton seem to have a bit more success in the middle of the park. They've made a few changes, but I think I'll wait a few more moments. Willock with the header, Liebert heads it on, but Martin isn't going to get anywhere near that one. Northampton with the ball in the middle of the park, Corrie now, Croasdale, good ball forward to Marriott, and we've been done on the long ball over the top again, but it's a good block from our defence this time, and Purrington can clear that one, which he does. We need to make changes because our defensive unit just haven't been good enough. So Scott Tancock is coming on. I'm also going to bring Henry Jones on as well. He's coming on for Charlie Cooper, just hasn't really made much of an impact today. We'll leave it at that for now. We can bring some more fresh legs on in due course should we need it. So we're edging possession 60%, 79% pass completion rate, which isn't as good as the opening half, but pretty decent for the season I'd say so far. And Henry Jones has picked up another injury, it looks like. 20 or so minutes to go. Corner, Henry Jones, the injured player, whips that in. Oh, Tancock hit the post and I think it was taken away from Liebert's feet. Another corner, Jones delivers that one. Liebert, it's cleared, but only as far as Sambone, who finds... Oh, Conroy's hit the post as well. We need to make these count. I'm going to make my final change. Ben Glasgow's coming on for Tyler Reid. I'm also going to drop Billy Waters down to more of a support role. Get them to concentrate for the last 15 or so minutes. We're still on the control sort of mentality. I'm going to drop that now to counter. 5 or 10 minutes to go into injury time. And this should be the last highlight, but it's a dangerous corner. Buchanan, Willock, great clearance at the front post. And that is a fantastic comeback from 2-0 down early on in the second half. I think we did really well to win that game, but actually it was a game that we should have won anyway, I'd say, on paper at least. Player of the match, Rowan Liebert, had a really good outing actually, and he was really influential in that comeback. A goal and assist for him, other goals from Geraldo Martin and Billy Waters, and a pretty decent outing for Sam Bone as well in the centre of park, so quite pleased with that. A decent win over Northampton, and we did well to come back and really turn that game around after a pretty poor slow start. 21 shots, only the 6 on target, so not as good as other returns in front of goal the last few games. So a 3-2 win, but unfortunately we brought Henry Jones on off the bench from his return from injury, and he's picked up another rib injury, so it looks like he's going to be out for a further 2 weeks. Perhaps we risked him ever so slightly earlier, but I'm very keen to reintroduce him back into the squad. So that 3-2 win has reinforced our lead at the top of the table. So we've reintroduced that 4-point lead over Oxford. But obviously Hartlepool are on 27 points with the game in hand. They could leapfrog Oxford with a win. So a return for winning waves to the Moors today. And in the next episode, we're going to be coming back for the away trip to the Hive, where we're going to be playing Barnet at the end of November. We've got a few tricky ties, in the next month. We're away at Luton, who are a pretty decent team, and they're sitting in 6th place at the moment. We've also got an away trip to York as well. And whilst they're languishing at the bottom of the table, we really need to concentrate on improving our away form. Other than that, we've got our first round of the FA Cup That draw hasn't taken place yet, but we've also got AFC Wimbledon in the Johnson's Paint Trophy quarter-final. So that's a really good tie at home because we've already beaten AFC Wimbledon so far this season, and I'm hoping for progression in that cup competition. And the other tricky fixture we're going to have to play in the next month is at home to Dagenham and Redbridge. So a return to winning ways for the Moors at home to Northampton today. We did well to come back from a 2-0 down. A good victory, but it wasn't as comfortable as I'd liked. But I'm hoping that we can continue with some decent results the next month. And when we come back for the next episode, I'm hoping that we'll have progression in the domestic cups as well. So thanks for watching again, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the game today. Quite an exciting one for the spectators, I'd say. And we'll return in the next episode for the game away at Barnet. But until then, take care and I'll see you then. Cheers.